in Venice, it really taught me how to be a surfer in every sense of the word. The sort of respect to the elders, to the people who came before you, to the space, you know. In Venice, no one longboards. And if you do, you're a fucking kook. But it's something that I sort of discovered myself, especially the longboarding that I like to do. My name's West Adler. Surfing is just something that I've always done, like being connected to the beach. The beach is family to me. Like that was something I did every Sunday. We went driftwood just south of the pier, and that's where I caught my first wave. That's where I grew up at the beach, and surfing was sort of an extension of that. Made me have a relationship with the ocean, you know, one that I don't think I'll ever let go of. But with longboarding, I sort of found longboarding through YouTube. No one I grew up with longboarded. Everyone shortboarded. Everyone was riding potato chips, doing snaps, and very aggressive. Like the style from Venice is one that is very aggressive. And so like, I found myself on YouTube watching, you know, old Thomas Campbell videos, you know, of like Alex Nost, Dane Peterson, and like Devin Howard, all those guys. You know, I think high performance longboarding, you should just ride a shortboard if you're doing snaps on a longboard. When I was 13, for my 13th birthday, after, you know, begging, I got a longboard, but it was an 8.3 thruster, not even a 2+1. It had 3 fins the same size. So that's what I like, you know, I think it was good that I didn't even learn on that, but and then eventually after that I got a Zamora, Ian Zamora from Malibu. I still talk to him. It was Mitt Seeley's old board, Frankie Seeley's father, who Frankie rips. I grew up with her. And so I grew up when Malibu wasn't working, and before I had a car, I would of course just have to surf Venice, and like, longboarding there was weird. You know, you get a lot of shit talked to you, a lot of, you know, not just because like, you know, people who know me talk shit, you know, like when you're a grom, and then to be a longboarding grom, it's like double layer, like you get. So I really had to just be like, I think longboarding helped me just be like, yeah, this is what I do. And you kind of just got to eat shit for a while from the people around you, but I didn't really care because it was more fun to me than shortboarding. I think there's two relationships I have. It's like one to surfing and then one to longboarding. I think it's kind of different like that. I probably didn't ride a shortboard from when I was like 13 to 16, didn't ride a shortboard. Of course I did here and there, but it wasn't until I was like 16 that I got back into shortboarding. I was like, I'm gonna do an air reverse. Like that was my goal, you know, but yeah. And then from there, I found that doing both was sort of like the happy medium. Riding whatever board was good for the waves, you know, that's the most fun.
You like surfing like with the longboard, and then sometimes the waves are more like a hot dog, like, and you go get your shortboard and you throw in air reverse, like you really did actually. You learned it. I see with my own eyes, you know, and it impressed me a lot because I used to surf better than you, and then see you guys surfing better than me. The progression is coming, making me really happy to see you surfing, you know. So my question is like, did you start skating first, like in Venice?
I think skateboarding came first for us because we didn't know how to swim when we started surfing. So it's like, and then, you know, with a skateboard, you could ride down the driveway all day. But with a surfboard, you have to go to the beach, put a wetsuit on, your dad has to push you in, all these like factors. So skating really did come first, you know. And it's also like, as a kid, like skating around the block is like one of your first tastes of like real freedom, you know, like going around the corner where your mom can't see you and like hopping off a curb, but then eventually crying and going back to your mom, you know. It's like, I felt like that, like, yeah, skating came, it wasn't, I don't think it was like focus on skating, focus on surfing. It was just like those two sort of activities complemented each other. You know, of course you don't think about it this way when you're a kid, but like you just do it because it's fun, and it's like, you know, your friends do it and your brother does it and it's there, you know. Skating, I love skateboarding and I like doing I love skating with my friends, but that shit hurts. And in a different way than surfing, and I'd rather not get hurt skateboarding and not be able to surf than I would get hurt surfing and not be able to surf. I'm a surfer who skates very rarely.
I have a question for you too, like here, Jay Adams, you know? And I know you saw him, well, I became friends with him and everything, like, but I know you whole life is seeing that guy, you know? Have you, like, I'm tripping, like, with that, like, have you been around Jay, like,
No, he wasn't, like, as much in my life as, say, like, Skip was. Englund, yeah, or, you know, Jim Muir, or even Jeff Ho, you know? Jay was sort of like, I was younger, I was sort of the generation where he was already in Hawaii. I saw him a few times, met him a few times, you know, but he was always like Jay Adams, you know, he was like the legend, like the one, you know what I mean? Like he always was that, had that aura of like being the one from Venice, you know? I think he embodies a lot of like what Venice is and like the attitude of what it is, you know? Like he's such an amazing like surfer, just the way he goes about it, you know? And I think a lot of that stems from doing things because you love doing it and not waiting for someone to allow you to do something.
what lights you up these days?
What lights me up?
In every each way, like here, emotionally, spiritually.
I think what makes me most excited is like the quieter times when we're in the water, where it's not the best day ever, when it's, you know, a random Tuesday afternoon and the wind dies down and it's like beautiful little waves and no one's out. That's what really makes me really appreciate where I'm from. And you know, when you're there with your friends and you're just laughing, and that is for me like the best moments where I feel really at home, and in the way you describe it lights me up, you know. And like I also, in that same sort of sense, like I enjoy riding my bicycle in the Santa Monica Mountains, and like when I'm there with my friends and it's like a beautiful afternoon and you can just, you know, I'm 30 minutes from my house and I'm in the wilderness, and you know, it's like that, those moments are really special to me. Like I think more than like the sickest ride ever, like the best day, like the biggest, like, you know, all of that, like yeah, those are really fun to talk about and remember and like have experienced, but I really, the in-between is really the best for me, and I think that's what's special. Yeah. I also like making, when I finish something that I've been working on, like an artwork or something like that, there's a euphoria. I don't know, a lot of what I make and a lot of what I explore in my artwork is like another way of like researching, or another way of like learning, where it's not like you're reading something or you're going through the history of something. It's like a more personal learning experience for myself, and it's a way to like, you know, to be cliche, to like meditate on things, you know. And a lot of what I make, well, recently I've been exploring sort of like the landscape of Los Angeles as like a place that is embedded with like cultural and infrastructural scars and like histories that we as individuals and of members of a community interact with, and how the way we interact with the space and those histories creates LA itself. It's like this weird, like, sort of cyclical thing that I've been interested in, and a lot of the paintings and sculptures I've been making are sort of like ways for myself to better understand those relationships through research and then through the actual act of making. But then also like just drawing and painting, I enjoy that sort of just like somatic experience as well. The act of doing, you know. And for influences, you know, I grew up, like growing up in LA, like you get introduced to like Black Flag and, you know, the artwork of Raymond Pettibon. And then also growing up, I had some family friends who were close with like John Baldessari and Ed Moses. And then now the people I like, one of the people I work for, Ned Evans, I'm inspired by his work a lot. And then also Ed Ruscha. A lot of these, like it as a artist from Venice or more so from Los Angeles, I feel in this privileged position, both in the way that I'm in this lineage of surfing from Dogtown and the Z-Boys, and I'm a part of that lineage. I feel as if I'm a part of this lineage of Los Angeles artists, you know, and like making my own work is a way to have conversations with people that may have been passed or that I may not actually be able to talk to, you know, but you can conversate through art.
What is your sponsors nowadays?
I surf for Unhinged Surfboards, shaped by Dane Peterson. That's who I longboard for. I kind of just I borrow shortboards and stuff like that. I don't really have anything, but, and then I also, I wear July wetsuits, just some of the best. One of the greatest things that's ever happened is to have beautiful free wetsuits that are perfectly fit to me. And Crap Eyewear. They're a really cool local company who have like, you know, always just given me free sunglasses since I was a little kid.
Okay, shortboard or longboard?
Both, but I tend to lean to longboard. Like in the summer, if the waves are good, I'll go surf Malibu rather than like lowers. To put it, you know, as an analogy, I guess.
What's your favorite place in the planet to surf you have been?
I'd say, well, I mean, I don't know. I'd say like on a, you know, yearly basis, I surf First Point, Malibu the most out of everything. It's like a pretty undeniably perfect wave. Besides the crowd, it's you know, for longboarding, you can't really beat the consistency, the predictability, and like the speed of that wave. It's like, it's the other half of where I learned how to longboard. I've been fortunate enough to go to Indonesia a few times, but I was a bit younger, and I think if I went now, it'd be different. But yeah, First Point Malibu was an amazing longboard wave. Also, Venice breakwater in the summer when the left is working is really fun. But I like, you know, beach breaks. I like waves that are more punchy and like you can get a little backdoor barrel and then have I don't know. I don't like, yeah, I just like surfing. But I think just being like, I was never like afraid to surf anywhere because the guys who surf Venice were always the scariest to me. And like, not scary, like, you know, I wasn't afraid of like getting hurt or anything, but they'd tell you if you're doing something wrong or if you were in the way or if you know, whatever you were doing. Like especially people like Billy Huron and like Barry Roach, all those dudes, like, you know, you had to sit on like, it really taught me not just like how to surf, like how to be a surfer, you know? Specifically, Rick Massey would talk a lot of shit about the way I dressed and the way I carry myself. When I was like 14, 15, I used to paint my nails and shit because I saw my favorite, you know, artists or surfers were doing it. And I learned a lot that like, doesn't fucking matter. Like it's good, you can just be yourself. That was what I learned most from growing up in Venice, is like those guys, you know, through their tough love, you know, taught, I think, all of us how to like act and how to like carry ourselves when we went and surfed other places, or even when we went and did other things outside of surfing, you know, like to respect everything that's come before you and the history and the space, you know. That's what I'm interested in sort of like the lineage of things, or the history, or the unspoken histories, and like the way that you can sort of reinterpret, rediscover, and like, and while also respecting and understanding what has happened before you, or even like discovering what has, you know. And I think a lot of that came from having old dudes yell at me, but like, like I don't regret any of that. I think that's something that is a positive in my life in a ironic way. Being from such a unique place, and then sort of growing older and learning about all the things about that place, has come into my art, where I'm like, it's not just about, you know, the waves, but it's about the totality of everything, and that includes the history and the present, and like the things that are forgotten. You surf because you love it. You surf because it's like, it means everything, or you don't have to like justify it in any reason. You know, it is your life. It's what you do.